So anyways, if you guys, FRF Nation, if you're watching this right now, I am very humbled and very, very proud, and just feel honored to talk to this guy on the other side. This is Josh Fulk, and Josh and I have, this is the first time we've actually talked face to face, but we've been emailing and messaging for probably over almost a year. And Josh has lost over 100 pounds following FRF, and is now motivating others. And I'm extremely proud and very humbled to be talking to him today. And I thought, what a perfect person to ask a couple of questions to help motivate you and to find out a little bit more about Josh's story. So everybody, I want to introduce you to Josh Fulk. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, doing good, Aaron. How are you?
I'm good. Again, like we've been kind of bantering off before the recording, talking a little bit about fitness and about fire rescue fitness, and really what I want to do is get a little insight as to, first of all, you know, you made this huge change in your life. A lot of good things are happening. We'll talk a little bit about that. But what was the moment that made you realize, look, I need to make a change here. This isn't the way I want to be. I'm trying to give back to my community as a firefighter, but you know, all of a sudden, what was it that halted you in your place and said, that's it, I got to get fit?
Well, one of the very first things is Fire Academy. I went through the Fire Academy in 2016, and I could do a lot of it. I'm a strong guy. I've got enough muscle. I can move and do a lot. And smart, I can pick up on the book work. But where I struggled was a lot of the stuff where you had to get, basically like the mazes and that. A lot of that, it wasn't that I didn't have the mindset that I couldn't do it. It was the holes were so small that physically couldn't fit them. So that was kind of the first one. During that time, I wasn't doing FRF at the time. I was doing the shakes and that. But I started seeing the FRF posts come up, and that got me interested. I bought an FRF program in November of 2016. And that's whenever I started reading and started planning. Just from reading it, I planned on, okay, I needed to get to the doctor. I hadn't been to the doctor for years. Well, I show up to the doctors and they go, well, if you don't do something in this next year, we're going to put you on medicine.
Yeah. And can you tell, like, how old are you, right? That was how old were you when that happened?
That was whenever I was, 29.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah. To be thinking that you're 29 and the doctor's saying, well, by the time you're 30, whenever you're 30, you could be on medicine. That's a big change. But instead, and thing is I have high blood pressure and heart disease that runs in my family too. So that kind of changed the way I started thinking. I have a grandpa that's passed away since, and he had quadruple bypass surgery very young, whenever he was in his 50s. So that's pushing me quite a bit too. So that was kind of the moment whenever I said, okay, I got to do something. The doctor only wanted 30 to 40 just to see me heading in the right direction, which I did that. But he wanted to see some of it come off and some of the stress. So
yeah. So it was kind of like a culmination of, all right, I went through the academy, I look at my family, I'm looking in the mirror, I went to the doctor, and it was like, all right, I can start to do this. And so what was the first step? Like, what was the first thing that you said, all right, I'm going to make this change? What did you do next?
Well, the first thing I realized I'd been eating wrong. I'd been more consuming for pleasure. We'd been going out. I like my pastas and my breads, just like anybody else. Mm-hmm. So I knew that was going to be a challenge right away. In 2017, when I joined the challenge, that first week, that's all I focused on. I focused solely on eating, getting the soda out, getting a lot of the pastas out, getting kind of lowering my carb intake, lowering that sugar intake. And then the next week I started the workouts. Mm-hmm. The reason being is I knew dropping the soda, dropping the high sugar, I was going to have headaches. I was going to have withdrawals. So I planned it out. I had to plan it. Otherwise, I was going to feel horrible and work out at the same time. That doesn't mix too well.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I had to start. I had to get the eating right.
So you focused on your nutrition. You added water. You started drinking a lot more water too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, hydrating. And then so you went with the nutrition, and you had at that point you had purchased the Ultimate. Were you doing the Ultimate?
Yeah, I started the Ultimate
Okay.
as the challenge in the 2017.
Okay.
That was the first one that I went through. And I like Ultimate because it kind of builds you up the first month, and then the second month it's kind of a little bit tougher, and the third it's kind of a well-rounded program that fit me. It fit a lot of what I did in high school basketball and baseball, so it just rounded out what I was used to. So,
and that's kind of the idea behind why I even started it, because I used to work with pro athletes, believe it or not, before I got in the fire service. And like we were talking off camera before about, I'm not the best firefighter. I'm not the most gifted. So I got to really work at it as well. And that was the approach that I took to help me get through academy. Now I went through at age 35, went through my second academy at 35, trying to keep up with you youngsters, so that was the challenge. But so you focused on your nutrition, then you started working out, and you talk a lot about planning. How important was that for you in your success?
It was pretty big because, well, before I didn't have to plan. So if I wanted something, I could run to the vending machine, grab it right out. Vending machines have sugar, and sugar. So no matter what you picked, you're going to up your glucose. You're going to up everything. So I had to plan pretty good. I ended up getting my own little fridge at work, and I could grab his water. If I had water, I didn't have any reason to run to a vending machine. If I'd planned out my lunch, which I use a lot of tuna packets. They have little flavored tuna packets out now, and I throw a little cayenne pepper in with it or whatever and make my own little lunch. But I mean, it's low calories and high protein, so it fills me up quick.
Yep.
So it's all about planning.
It's and the workouts too. Like you just stick to the calendar. Sometimes you'd switch it around a little bit, right?
In the calendar, I stick to it for the most part. Now, the only time where I'll start to rotate it up and kind of switch it up is if I plateau. If I plateau for a week and it's not at the end of the month, say it's the second or third week of the month, that rest day, I might do a little bit more than just going for a walk or that. I might go and do like the 9/11 tribute workout that's online. I would jump in and use that. Or Mondays and Fridays, I'm more or less in my weightlifting workouts. So I might throw in a cardio that afternoon, just a 30-minute cardio, whether it's on a treadmill or doing a cardio interval. But just to break that plateau, because I know my body's got used to the same routine. So I need to change it up just a bit, and then I can go back to the normal scheduling.
And the cool thing, you would and I would talk a lot on Messenger and email, and you had started creating your own. You're like, hey, I'm going to do this, this, and this. What do you think? And to me, that was like, hey, that's awesome that he's taken what we've done with Ultimate. He's looked at a lot of the posts, and by talking, you started creating your own. And that's really what this is all about. It's just following kind of the workout scheme to help you move better first, work your core, full body, burn some calories, and then work on some fireground stuff. So you started creating your own. You had your nutrition down. What really was the biggest challenge? So as you threw the whole 100 pounds this last year, it's ups and downs, but looking back at it, what was the biggest thing?
Well, like I said, eating. Other than eating, it'd be scheduling too. I teach a class at 7:30 in the morning, and sometimes I teach from 7:30 to 5. So getting that scheduling in, and like I said, eating is part of it. It's still scheduling. I only have 10 minutes in between classes, so I had to schedule and plan my day pretty close. but
Would
I
you do
do a
that
lot
a
of
week?
early.
Would you
What's
do
that?
that a week ahead sometimes, or a month ahead, or just a couple days?
Basically, with my schedule, I'm normally the same schedule for 8 weeks. So once I got that planned, the first week, I could kind of plan ahead the
Mhm.
whole way. But for the most part, it was day to day. If I needed it, I'd look at the next day and plan that day. But for the most part, my workouts, they all go in the morning hours.
Mhm.
Uh, so I'm always working out kind of right after I get up at 5:30, 6 o'clock. I was working out so I could go teach class. So as making time, it wasn't about not having time. It was making time to do it,
Great
and
point.
that was major part of it. And looking back, there's a lot of times where before I started working out, there was a lot of time to work out. I just wasn't utilizing it.
Mhm.
It was, I was going to go sit down and watch Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, and all the regular sitcoms whenever I could have been out doing something.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of that.
So a lot of it was changing your perspective too, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay, a lot of people, I don't have time. I gotta drop my kids off. Well, then you sit in a car for 45 minutes when you drop your kids off at a class or whatever it might be, or a sport. Well, there's 45 minutes you can go for a walk, right? And that's kind of what you're saying is you found time, you planned your nutrition so you weren't going to eat something poorly when you were hungry. And you reached out to me a lot like, hey, I didn't get this workout in, and you didn't beat yourself up, right? You just every day, right, made progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And well, for example, this past week, Friday I woke up, I don't know what it was, is I just felt I felt a little on the sick side. I didn't feel like 100%. So I pushed my workout back to Saturday. My Friday workout, I took Friday as a rest day, worked in the garden, kind of done my rest day, and just kind of shifted everything back.
Mm-hmm.
Just because even going out on a fire call, if you're not feeling 100%, you're not going to go in the house.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be the one. So just having that rest day to shift, that helps out. I mean, I could have probably went and worked out, but I wasn't going to get 100% out of my workout. Yeah. So I needed to allow that amount of time to make sure.
And you never allowed that rest day to turn into a rest week, which happens, right? And that's the key. Even vacations. I think at one point we were like, hey, I'm going to take some time off. I'm still going to work out on vacation, but I'm going to come back and make sure I go gung ho. I get a lot of people that call, like text or email, and they're like, hey, went on a trip and then I didn't get back into it. Now it's 2 months, It's 2 months. Can you resend me my program, or where should I start? And I know that you and I have had this conversation. You've posted a lot because now, as I mentioned, as we started, you're really helping a lot of people. And you're a very motivating guy. So I appreciate everything that you do with helping the fire service and fire rescue fitness. But my final question for you is, I know that you said you're not done yet. You got some other goals. So my last question is, what's your next goal, and what's motivating you to that goal?
Well, I've kind of got 2 goals that I'm looking at. One of them's getting sub 300 pounds. I want to get under that 300-pound mark.
And for people that don't know, you're like
24.
Right.
And now, that's the heaviest weight that I know of. There's a picture out there of me being at a baseball game where it was 85, 90 degrees, and I was sweating like none other. And I figure I was probably another 10, 15 pounds heavier in that post, just looking, because I swelled up so big that I figure I was a little heavier. So that would make an overall of about 125 pounds.
And you're doing your air consumption drills. You're able to do everything on the job. You just ran a 5K, for God's sakes, right? Physically, you're challenging a lot of people and beating a lot of people in your own department that are smaller than you because of the way you've been training and preparing, right?
And that's one thing with our department. We done a BMI contest this year.
Mm-hmm.
We're running a weight loss contest. Everybody pitched in $20. And there's 8 of us, so that's $160. Everybody put $20 behind their name.
Yep.
but we're doing total BMI to kind of make it even for a 6'2" guy like me and the 5'11" guy. Right now, I'm in the lead by about a little over one BMI point.
Mm-hmm.
So I've kind of got a little head start on that. But as for a goal, yeah, I'm trying to get under that 300 pounds.
Yeah.
The next goal that I see after that I'm kind of chasing is getting around the 270 mark.
Yeah.
270, that I've done the calculation, 272 and a half kind of gets me at that magical number of 35% BMI.
Yeah.
So if I can get under that, then I'm out of the obesity scale for my weight and height. So there's the second major goal. Things that are kind of pushing me on that is, well, one, I've got a kid coming in October. So little miss, she'll be here in October. She'll make her grand entrance.
That's awesome.
So she's on the way. Just mainly family too, being able to look in the future and push myself just to be in better shape and be able to do everything a little bit easier. So that's kind of what's pushing me.
All right.
For an end goal.
Yeah.
As for overall, where I would like to get to would be somewhere around 250. So overall, I've got a little under 70 pounds overall still left that I'd like to get down. I know that's going to take time because as I lose weight, there's less weight to lose, and I'm going to start packing on muscle, but I still can cut down. I consider in high school I graduated at 200 pounds, and I was still thin and lean. Looking back at some of my high school pictures, I've gained a lot of muscle since high school. So I know I should be about 250, and that's where I'll be really trying to stop.
All right.
But I'll still be working out to gain muscle too. So,
well, it's gonna be a pleasure watching, because I just by getting to know you this last year, I think that's definitely gonna be doable, buddy. Well, thanks again for the time. Continually do what you're doing, and thank you so much for motivating others. Again, everybody, Josh Fulk, keep your eye on him. Ask him questions. He's very open. I don't want to speak for you, but you are.
Yeah, feel free to message me, or I might put up some live feeds every so often, or post on the challenge group.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot me messages. I know I've had a few already message me. If you don't feel like posting it on the group, send me. I know my profile's locked down a little bit, but you still can send me a message, and I'll get the request and I'll add you to where we can talk. And
they can ask me too, and I can filter it onto you.
Yeah.
Any way we can help anybody out. Yeah.
I know with certain parts of workouts, everybody's got issues and questions. Ultimate, just getting right down to the workout that I've done most. Being a 400-pound guy, a weight ball isn't too friendly.
The stability ball, right? The big stability.
Yeah, stability balls not too friendly. And that's one of the questions I get a lot of. What'd you do here? Well, I went to a bench or used a stack of mats that I still had to use a little bit of balance, but I still attempted the stability ball first. Now I'm still about 90% on the stability ball, going back and forth to the bench.
Yeah.
Some of it I'm still a little leery, but I'll get there.
It takes time.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the idea behind the substitutions is, hey, there's other things that you can do. There's think about, I think it goes back to what your mindset is. Every day I'm going to make progress and challenge myself to make progress every little day. Even if it's a rest day, I'm still going to eat well and I'm still going to get better. And I think whether your goal is weight loss or trying to just stay up with the young guys or maintain, your fitness and your weight and or lose a little bit. I think that's the goal for all of us. There should be, improve our performance, because it's not only just about fitness. It's about what our life, right? Like quality of life. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and as well, kind of kind of like I mentioned to Aaron here before when we were just chatting. Yeah, I turned 31 this year. Well, I'm still looking at retirement at 58. If I'm not in good shape by the time I hit retirement, what'd I work for?
Yeah.
So that's
exactly. Yeah. And even the guys that are 55 and are going to retire in 3 years, you can get in shape in that 3 years so you can go and enjoy retirement. And that's what we really want in the fire service, right? Like the younger guys keep things going so the older guys can enjoy their retirement, and then it shifts at, when the younger guys get older, and just try to help each other and be more positive and really encourage a healthy and fit lifestyle. And I appreciate all that you're doing for that. And it's been an honor to talk to you. And again, I'm very humbled that you help out with FRF so much, buddy. I really appreciate it.
No problem, Aaron. And I look forward to future workouts and that. Thank you.
You got it, buddy.